Hello friends, today we are here with a very special guest, my bestie girl Andrea, and there is one thing about us, we are both readers, but we do not like the same books.
Not at all.
And I've been kind of in a rut and thinking I hate every single thriller that I read, so maybe it's time for a little bit of a change. So we're trusting somebody's expertise to pick our TBR for today's video.
Are you excited?
I'm a little.
How are you feeling?
I'm worried that they're all going to be really, really long.
Okay.
And I don't do well with long books or have really long chapters because I know you don't care about long chapters.
No, we don't
and
care.
They infuriate me. So those are like the two things I'm a little apprehensive about. I know that you are like aware of the things that I really can't handle, like body horror and like gore and stuff. So I think you're nice enough to not torture me.
Okay, ready? For your first book?
Yep. Okay, I saw this one coming. So she rated this one 6 stars on Goodreads and then texted me the next day and said, I've changed my list.
This is an enemies to lovers fantasy, and this has been a very big new release in the book world. It just came out, I think, 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago.
Yeah, I've read Devney Perry once before. I've read Indigo Ridge. I don't know if this is her first fantasy.
I think it is. I think it's her first fantasy, and it was so good. I listened to the audio of it, and it was phenomenal. The last like 3 or 4 hours of it, I just was like this. Which never happens to me, and I would just be like this and I would just be like freaking out. So I'm really excited, and there's not a ton of smut in this. It's very, very minimal. I feel like even with me with smut, I just like sometimes it just goes over my head and I don't think about it, but it's not too crazy because that's like usually
your like complaint. I listened to Quicksilver because I knew she loved it, and I was like, it would be good if it wasn't for all of the spice.
So here's your first book.
Any more information you have on it, or are we just going with it's enemies to lovers and that's all I know?
Enemies to lovers. I told you that there's the creatures that I'm going to send you the pictures of. There is kind of a marriage of convenience.
Okay.
There's a twist that I didn't see coming at all, was shooketh.
Alrighty.
And found family.
Oh, I
found family.
I am a lover of found family. Do you have a
I
prediction for how I'm gonna rate this one?
I think you're gonna give it a 4 star.
Okay, that's pretty high.
I think you're gonna give it 4 stars.
Okay.
All right, the next one. What do you want? Do you want it to go in like longest to shortest? Or do you want, or just any order?
Any order's fine.
Okay, so I'll give you, this is gonna be the easiest read for you, okay? I love Hooky. It is a graphic novel, and it is about these 2 siblings who are witches, wizard and witch, and they are just doing a whole bunch of hijinks, playing hooky on school, and there is like a prophecy element in here, and it does get a little like intense and kind of crazy. It goes through a wild ride of emotions.
Are these both part of a series, or is it standalone?
They're both series. I think that this is gonna be 3 books, and then this I think so far has 4.
Okay, I forgot that graphic novels were an option. Like, I know that obviously you love them, but like it didn't even cross my mind that that was gonna be like,
I figured I'd give you 1.
A possibility. But this looks really, really cute, and anything as a graphic novel is very,
and it's YA, so that's also good. It's a good one.
She's cute with her little pink hair.
It's very, very cute.
So we have got Hooky.
But I feel like there's enough like stakes that it's not just like cuteness overload cozy. There's enough going on, and it's adorable.
I'm excited. I think that's the one out of these 2 that I'm most like, okay, I can do this.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the best one for last. Okay.
How many are we doing?
4.
Okay.
4. Okay, so then the next one is the one where I asked you if you were going to read while we're together, because this is like, it has to be done together. So you have to read this one like now.
Okay.
So,
my current read, first one.
Your current read is Rose in Chains, because it's an ARC. You have to read it on my Kindle.
So I have to read it on her Kindle, and that's why you brought physical books. Okay.
Those ones you can read whenever, but this one you have to read while you're with me.
Okay, what's the tea on this one?
This is a Hermione fanfic. You just finished a Julie Soto.
I did, which is very funny.
Yes. There is a little bit of BLOOD, but it's very minimal.
Okay.
It gives very like handmaids, but not as intense, but there's still like that element. This is the one where this is, so in the Hermione, the original fanfic, it was like if the good guys didn't win. and then what would happen then, because at the very beginning, it's the very beginning of the story is the good guys don't win, and she is taken captive, and basically they want to use these powerful wizards and people with powers. I don't know if they call them wizards, they're just like their powers, and harvest them.
Okay.
So somebody's using somebody to harvest the powers from them. And they're basically have like like this deck thing that like diminishes their powers.
Okay, sounds interesting. What I forgot to say. What do you think I'm gonna rate this one?
4.
And this one?
3 or 4.
Okay.
I don't think you're gonna hate any of them.
I also was
I think
wondering
a 3. That one a 3.
why you were like getting out your Kindle. I'm like, what is she doing on her Kindle? It's so like important right now. But okay, I understand now that why I have to read it.
And this is the book I told her that I didn't read yet, but we're gonna buddy read it.
Okay.
And it's probably the most like interesting pick.
I'm so scared.
But
I'm nervous.
I'm so excited.
Also want to note, maybe I'll just throw our thoughts in here. We are currently also buddy reading Sky Daddy as we're at a hotel at the airport.
I'm literally watching the planes go, and I'm like, she would love this.
This
right
would be
now.
like her dream.
I know. We're like, I think 30% of the way through, but we should finish it
at some point.
At some point, but it is interesting. I'm not like mad about it.
No, but it's
I'm like
just,
interested.
It's like My Strange Addiction.
Do you have any guesses?
You have not read it, you said.
It's by an author I really like.
Oh, it's by an author. I was gonna first say maybe the new Olivia Blake book that everybody's been talking about. The like Talented and Gifted.
No.
And then there's that other one that...
It's not a new book.
Oh, it's not new.
No.
Authors that you like. You've read your... Oh, no. Is it the first book of Throne of Glass?
No. Can you imagine? I'll say that for later. Next time, leave a comment down below if you want to see a part 2.
Who else do you love? I don't think it's not Rebecca Yarros. It's not SJM.
I think I've read 4 or 5 books.
By this author? I have no idea.
Does It Hurt?
Oh,
by
no.
H.D. Carlton.
I'm scared.
But look at this though. Sharks.
Oh, okay, so I do love me a shark.
The sharks are like a prevalent part.
Okay.
Sharks.
Okay.
Sharks. Do you want me to read you the back?
Oh, sure.
Who am I? I've forgotten the answer to that question long ago. Ever since I ran from that house, so desperate to escape, I left with only the clothes on my back and socks on my feet. After that day, I've only walked in stolen shoes. Could I be a girl who was searching for the meaning of life and faceless men? They are all so forgettable until he came along. He took me under a waterfall and made me forget my name, and in return, I took his instead. Do you want me to read the what part too?
I'm sure.
Enzo Vitale. An enigmatic
literature
man that will only ever love
I
the
think
deep
it's enigmatic.
sea. Yeah, it's a word that I would skip.
For sure.
Or rather, the predators that inhabit it.
Ooh.
Turns out he's not so different than the monsters he feeds. He lured me onto his boat like a fish in the ocean, seeking vengeance for my crime. Had I realized his intentions and that a massive storm would leave us shipwrecked, I would have ran. Now I'm a girl who's seeking refuge in a decrepit lighthouse with a man who loathes me almost as much as he craves me. He wants to hurt me, but the old caretaker of an abandoned island may have intentions far more sinister. It's no longer a question of who I am, but rather, will I survive? Honestly, dark romance can sometimes just be thriller and romance mixed together.
Yes, and this one, if it is bloody, you can't say that you
I didn't know. I don't think it is though. I feel like,
because I know that if I wasn't so adverse to blood, you would have picked Haunting Adeline.
Yeah, but even that, I don't remember if it has. I think the other things are more triggering in that. Let me look at the little bit of a trigger list real quick. You know, just don't.
She says skip that page.
Skip that page. It doesn't say graphic gore or anything like that. You got this. You got it. You got it. I didn't check it.
Wow.
I think it'll probably be like gross, like feeding of sharks and stuff.
But
you'll be okay.
We will be starting with Rose and Chains by...
Oh yeah, I think you're gonna give this a 2. But maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
It went downhill. We started with the ones that have like the most hope.
What do you have the most hope for?
This one?
Second most hope?
This one's feeling like it could be a 4. These two are giving probably 3, and that one's giving a 1 or a 2.
What if you love it?
Then you know what? I'm willing to like love it if I do. I'm willing to have a change of heart.
I'm excited. I've been wanting to read this And I do love me some HD girlhood.
Well, that is the situation. So I'll check in with you guys when we have some thoughts.
Should we take a picture?
Okay guys, I'm 30-ish, 33% into this book and I'm bored.
It gets good.
I'm currently bored. We have our main girl. Her name's Bryony, I think. I don't like that. But basically, she's currently in a state where she's like, basically, the like premise is that the girls basically have just all been auctioned off. And
it's like you don't want to give away too much.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's in the synopsis.
Yeah.
And Tovin, who's like the Draco character, bought her. And she's like, basically like, what the fuck is going on?
Because she thought this other guy was going to buy her.
Yeah, at the auction, she got bought by somebody else, and his name was, like, tattooed on her arm. And then, like, the next day, like, they do something to her arm, and, like, this other guy's name is now there. And the, like, tattoo on her arm, like, prevents her from leaving, and she, like, has been passed out in bed for days now. And that's basically where I'm at. But I'm just ready for it to get, like, juicy. I'm bad at books that have a slow build.
Here's the other thing though, is like I feel like you never really read series. So
Yeah.
like I'm like settling in for 3 books and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I know what we're here for.
And pretty much any series that I read is interconnected standalones.
Yeah, and it's like a whole story in the book.
So I'm not used to reading a story knowing that I'm not getting the whole story.
Yeah, because you're at like 33% of this book, but you're probably only at like 9% of the series.
That's when you put it that way, that makes a lot of sense. But that's where we're at. I'm gonna read the next, because like I have to read 1/3 of this tonight and then 1/3 of it tomorrow night so that I can finish it so I can give Andrea her Kindle back.
It's not like I wouldn't live, laugh, love without it, but you know.
If I can get it done, I might as well.
Yeah, I believe in you. I trust in your process.
So that's the plan. Okay guys, we are, I don't know how far into Shield of Sparrows because Audible does not tell you what percentage you're on, but I am deep in the throes of it, and honestly, I don't know if I'm not paying attention deeply or if it's just not holding my attention or what, because I really couldn't tell you much that has happened. We have our main girl, Odessa, I think is her name. And essentially, her sister was supposed to be, like, the Sparrow and, like, go off and get married. But now, like, she's being the one who's married off, and she's in this different town. and there's like the guy she's married to, and he secretly has a daughter, and like her sister was her half sister because her mom died, and nobody really liked her very much, like Odessa, because her dad, everybody says, he's like always been in love with her mother. And so I don't know, she's been married off, and she's tried to sneak out one night, and he's like, why'd you do that? She's like, 'cause I've been like trapped in here. He's like, you haven't asked to like go do anything, just ask and you can go do whatever you want, basically. So she's now going off to do some exploring of the place, the town, the palace, the lands, and yet again it's boring. I think like Andrea basically summed it up the best for me, that I just think I don't have the attention span for a series, because the first book is always kind of boring to get you into it, and I just like don't give a shit. So maybe something crazy is gonna happen as we continue, but as of right now, I don't like this. I am gonna go on a walk and listen to this book while I am walking. Hopefully it'll have my undivided attention. How horrible I look. I just took a body shower, which is why I am the color of a tomato and my hair looks kind of crazy, but I have some thoughts. I only have about an hour left of listening time at my current listening speed, and this book has taken some good turns. It's like definitely getting good, and oh, like I said, I'm almost done. I have an hour left to listen, which I'm gonna buckle up and do here after I talk to you guys. But I went for a walk, listened to a bunch while I did that, came home, and I've just been kind of coloring, hanging out, listening, and this second half is like a 4. The only issue is that the first half was like a 2, so I feel like I'm gonna give it a 3, which for me a 3 is a good rating. Like, I'm glad I read it. And yeah, there's just like some like drama. Some tea has been spilled, some drama is happening, some reveals have been made, and it's like, what do you mean? And it is bamboozling me and shocking me, and I'm really liking some of the turns that we have taken. But again, I don't want to say anything because I want you to be as shocked as I am. But the beginning just was really slow, which I think is just like par for the course with fantasy, and that's just something that's not super, it doesn't work well with me. I feel like I have such an anxious, I'm like a very high anxiety person, and I feel like when I'm reading, I need something that's going to like, I don't know what is wrong with my fingers, but they're like all peeling. What the fuck? But when I'm reading, I need whatever book I'm reading to kind of grab me from the beginning and hold my attention, because otherwise I start checking my phone, I start not paying attention because my anxious brain is all over the place. So unless I'm reading something and it's like really sucking me in, I find it hard to care. And once I like don't care, it's hard to pull me back in, which this book did do. So I'm giving it a lot of props for that, because I was like actively in the I don't give a shit about any of these people phase. And so the fact that I'm now like caring about them is good. This is also the second book that I've read by Devney Perry. I've also read book 1 in the Eden series, Indigo Ridge, and I also gave that a 3. So it may be just also something with her writing isn't like my absolute favorite thing in the whole wide world. So that's the current thoughts and feelings. I'm gonna go finish this up, and also shower thoughts. I was like, I'm gonna finish this book, this video is gonna be done, and we still have a whole nother book. I forgot about it because Andrea hasn't read it yet, and she's currently reading it and annotating it, and then she's gonna give it to me to read and physically annotate the same copy, and then it'll be like a little fun thing on her shelf, and then I'm gonna pick a book to do the same with. But I don't have that yet, so I can't finish this video. So we'll be sitting on it until I get that book from her. I am actively editing this video, and I realize I made a fatal mistake. I don't think concluded my thoughts on a single thing that I read. If I did, I lost the footage. And additionally, I didn't end the video. What? I know why I didn't end the video. Okay. You guys will probably notice I did not end up reading Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton, and there are reasons. Basically, Andrea and I had planned for this year for us each to pick a book that we're going to read and annotate, and then have the other person read and annotate it. So we'll have this book with both of our annotations in it. She had intended for that to be Does It Hurt, and then she read it and annotated it and didn't really like it and only gave it 3 stars. And she said that she doesn't want to make me read it because she didn't even really like it, and that if she has me read a dark romance, she wants it to be one that she actually enjoyed. So with that being said, we are not going to be reading that book. This is just going to be a 3-book video. But let us back it up. Take it back to when we were in Dallas. At this point, nearly 2 months ago. Nearly a month ago. When was I in Dallas? It's mid-June now, okay? This was June 22nd. Okay, less than a month ago. Not that bad. But we started out by reading Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. And I don't know if my issue with this book was particularly the book itself, or if maybe I just don't love Julie's writing. Prior to reading this, I had literally, prior to starting this book, the day before, I had started reading Not Another Love Song by the same author, and I gave it 3 stars. And that is just a general contemporary romance, and I just didn't love the writing. It felt very surface level to me and very, like, not emotional, which is not something that I like. I like something that's deep and emotional and is gonna pull on your heartstrings. That's just not something that I got from that story. I do have another book by her that I'm gonna try, but I then read this, Rose in Chains. Rose in Chains or Rose and Chains? Rose in Chains. And this kind of gives fanfic Harry Potter meets The Handmaid's Tale Draco Hermione. And basically in this we had our main character Bryony, and she and her family went to like this magical school, and essentially the book starts off with like the opposite of the end of Harry Potter. Essentially the bad guys win. Her twin brother dies, and basically everybody who isn't part of like the dark side ends up getting sold off in some way, shape, or form. They're put in these collars and chains, and these collars essentially like block their ability to use their magic. Bryony gets purchased by Tovin. Bryony is like Hermione and Tovin is like Draco, and he is kind of not following the rules. Essentially what these like powerful families are supposed to be doing is making their bought prisoners, their people that they had purchased with the chains on, their heartstring. And essentially a heartstring isn't meant to be a bad thing, and Bryony's kind of been a heartstring with her brother their entire lives. And what being a heartstring is you're giving some of your power to somebody else to aid in their power. And throughout Bryony's life, she was way better at school than her brother, but that was looked down upon because her brother was meant to be king. And so he needed to be top of the ladder. So she would secretly, not even to his knowledge, pass off some of her magic onto him. And Tovin knew this. But anywho, they're supposed to be basically forcing their prisoners to be their heartstrings, stealing their magic to become the most powerful people. Tovin, though, however, has not made Bryony his heartstring, and that's causing a lot of drama within the world. And this is the first book in a trilogy. There's also like this place that I would most like compare it to, if you've seen The Handmaid's Tale, Jezebel's. And it's where these powerful people will bring their heartstrings, and it's kind of like a sex club slash like gladiator ring. They're like battling to the death, and it's just causing a lot of drama and so on and so forth. I ended up giving this book 2 stars. I thought it was painfully boring. Again, it is the first book in a trilogy, so we had to set up the whole story, but the setup of the story was so boring. I'm shocked I remember what I remember, okay? And that was basically that. I followed that up by reading the graphic novel Hooky. And in Hooky, I gotta look up the characters' names. It's also about twins. There's a set of twins, Danny and Dorian, and essentially their parents are kind of like, there's good witches and bad witches, and their parents are kind of bad witches. And they send the two of them off to school for the year, and they miss the bus, and they decide they can't go home and tell their parents they missed the bus because their parents are going to be so mad. So they're going to play hooky, and they go on these adventures to try to find a magic teacher. When they end up becoming they're declared as traitors, and they end up finding, it's very found family, a group of friends. There's a princess, a teacher, a troublemaker, and they're all kind of coming together. And it is a series, and again, I liked it well enough. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was super cute, but I will not be continuing on. And then finally, I gave 3 stars to Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. This is also another author I have read from before. It's actually very interesting that I have read from both Julie Soto and Devney Perry before in the more romance setting, and they're dipping their toes into romantasy. That's pretty cool. But I have read the first book in the Eden series by Devney Perry, which is Indigo Ridge, and I gave that 3 stars. And I do wonder if this is another case where maybe it's just the author's writing isn't my favorite. Somehow I remember this one the least, even though it's the one I've read the most recent. But basically in this, we have got our main character. Anywho, basically in this book, we have a set of sisters where one of them has basically her whole life, so the older sister, her mom died, I think, giving birth to her, and then her dad is like a king. He got remarried. She has another sister, and she is like the one with like both of her parents alive, and she's basically been bestowed to this man, and due to circumstances that are kind of spoiler. I feel like if I say anything about this, it's literally a spoiler. And I remember Andrea didn't tell me much about it, and I think it was for the same reason. But basically, now our main character is going to go and marry the prince, but she's kind of going undercover to discover what's really going on there. And there's a bunch of different magical creatures, which I did think that the creatures were very interesting. And there was this other character that, again, I don't want to say anything about because it's literally, I feel like everything that you say about this book is a spoiler. But there's this other character that I absolutely really loved and getting to see her storyline. But essentially, she's going undercover and is trying to find out as much information as she can. There are no maps of this kingdom, and that's kind of like one of her biggest things that she's trying to do is rebuild the map, which could get her into deep doo-doo if people find out she is doing that. And she's enlisting the help of certain people that are also kind of undercover and kind of have their allegiance to her family, to try to figure out like where the capital of this city is and what's really going on. I gave it 3 stars. It was, again, fine. It's not something I will continue. I don't care what happens. I think from this I've learned. So I've read quite a bit of books since reading this, and also I did read Quicksilver, which is another one of Andrea's favorites, and I gave that 3 stars also, but like it was a higher 3 than Shield of Sparrows. But something I think that I am learning, because since this, I have read a bunch of other books, because I read like about a zillion books a month, but I just recently read Game of Thrones. And I think, oddly enough, I like fantasy books better with no romance, or with less romance, with not romance being at the front and center, because I find the romance in Romantasy to be really cringy. And I personally am like, okay, but like, you have like a battle going on. You have like these really terrifying things happening. Why are we trying to fuck? And there was, I don't remember if there was any spice in Shield of Sparrows. There was not in Rose and Chains. But I just like can't get past it. And this is a very unpopular opinion, and it's something that Andrea and I strongly disagree on. I don't like enemies to lovers. I really don't. And I think that's like a really prevalent trope in the romantasy realm, at least from what I see. And I just can't get behind it. I'm a grudge holder, and I'm like, if I don't like you, like I'm not, like I won't even want to look at you, let alone sleep with you. Like if I start disliking somebody, everything about them is hideous, disgusting, vile. So that trope just really doesn't work for me, and so I never really feel the chemistry between these characters when they start out not liking each other. But that's gonna be everything, guys. I'm sorry that this video was very chaotic and filmed over like an entire month. I don't know. I don't have any excuses for myself. But this is episode 1 in my friends pick my reads. Episode 2 will be coming out shortly, where my friend Emily picks my reads, and Andrea has already agreed to come back for a second episode. So we'll see if it goes better than this one. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!